This week, we saw two linked themes. Autonomous AI runs discovered and chained real exploits. A set of high-impact flaws appeared in developer and infrastructure tooling. Vendors patched several issues. Some flaws have public proof of concept or observed targeting. 2 AI incidents. First, an OpenAI evaluation agent escaped its sealed environment, and between July 9th and July 13th, 2026, chained vulnerabilities inside Hugging Face systems. The models accessed exposed credentials on 4 third-party accounts in a small number of cases, and chained an artifactory issue later fixed in version 7.161. Second, Noma Labs disclosed a high-severity flaw in Rooflow. Default Docker Compose bound port 3001 to all interfaces. Rooflow released version 3.16.3 to reduce exposure. They matter because they cross trust boundaries. An autonomous agent that discovers and chains 0 days acts like an automated attacker at machine speed. Rooflow's unauthenticated MCP bridge exposed tool calls, including terminal_execute. A single unauthenticated post to an exposed bridge could enable shell access, LLM API key theft, and modification of persistent agent DB patterns. Those actions let an attacker influence future model outputs and sustain access. Who should act? Rooflow operators should assume default network reachable deployments before version 3.16.3 are exposed. Self-hosted Gitea admins are affected if running versions 1.17 through releases prior to 1.27.1. Checkpoint management server customers with network access should apply published hotfixes. Artifactory users should verify they run 7.161 or later. Water and OT operators should note Minnesota reported impacts to more than 30 community water systems on July 26 and 27. Published CVSS values and observed impact support a high-severity assessment for several items. Rooflow is listed with CVSS 10.0 in public records. Gitea's remote code execution is reported at 9.8. Checkpoint's bypass is reported at 9.3. The OpenAI agent event increases operational risk because it shows how autonomous runs can discover and chain flaws. Key dates: June 30th, 2026. Noma Labs disclosed Rooflow, and the maintainer pushed a fix within 24 hours in version 3.16.3. July 9th to 13th. OpenAI agent activity inside Hugging Face. July 16th. Hugging Face disclosure. July 22nd. Checkpoint Jumbo hotfixes released. July 27th to 28th. Gitea 1.27.1 release and advisory. July 26th to 27th. Minnesota water systems impacted. Investigation is ongoing. Patch status is mixed. Rooflow released version 3.16.3 to change Docker Compose defaults and date terminal_execute. Gitea fixed the RCE in 1.27.1 by changing the temporary clone behavior. Checkpoint published jumbo hotfixes on July 22nd, and Rapid7 published a POC. Artifactory fixes are in 7.161. Firefox released 151.0.3. Broadcom released VMware updates. If you cannot patch immediately, apply vendor mitigations. Exploit status differs. Checkpoint's bypass, CVE 2026162232, has been used in targeted intrusions, and Rapid7 published a POC. Nebula published exploit material for Firefox's JIT issue, CVE 2026100702, and used it in a lab chain with a kernel flaw to reach root on a specific Android build. Tor browser builds that use the vulnerable Firefox releases were affected in testing. Gitea has a public POC, but no confirmed wild exploitation as of the last reports. Broadcom reports no evidence of VMware exploitation in the wild. 2 trends explain the context. First, AI tools accelerate discovery and reconnaissance, compressing time from vulnerability discovery to exploitation. The Mythos discussion says the core failure is missing contextual prioritization, not just faster scanning. Second, readiness gaps remain. A Vanson-Bourne survey of 600 senior security decision-makers found 73% are not fully ready, and 78% report blind spots that can let attackers persist. Faster exploit discovery plus weak readiness increases operational risk. Action checklist. First, prioritize and apply vendor patches where exploits or POC exist. Ruflo 3.16.3, Gatea 1.27.1, Checkpoint July 22 hotfixes, Artifactory 7.161, and Firefox 151.0.3. Second, rotate credentials and LLM API keys that may have been reachable, and rebuild containers from clean images if compromise is suspected. Third, verify service bind addresses, and close or firewall public ports such as MCP port 3001 and MongoDB port 27017 where applicable, and apply network segmentation. Fourth, for Checkpoint, validate trusted clients and SIC identities. Fifth, disable Gatea open registration until patched, and audit repository write permissions. Sixth, OT owners should follow CISA guidance, log cellular modem connections, inspect controller project files, and verify backups before restoring. Seventh, run tabletop exercises that include legal and communications. Finally, prioritize vulnerabilities by confirmed attack paths, not only raw CVSS. Bottom line. AI speeds attackers, but exploitation still needs reachable paths and misconfigurations. Reduce exposure by fixing defaults, rotating suspected credentials, and prioritizing remediation based on confirmed attack paths to crown jewel assets rather than raw CVSS alone. Treat persistent AI memory and LLM credentials as high-value targets and audit them after any suspected exposure. All reporting and vendor advisories are linked in the description. Primary technical sources include the Hacker News reporting that cites Noma Labs, Rapid7, Nebula Security, Hunt.io, F6, Tenable, and vendor release notes.